Okay, so this is our San Casito relationship, and this is a picture of San Casitos. Now, when you see this church, you think, hey, that's pretty bad. It doesn't look all that terrible, third world kind of country. It looks pretty nice, but this is directly across the street from San Casitos. So you get a little flavor of actually what, the kind of people, living conditions of what these folks are in. So 10 years ago, just to give you a little flavor, the way the relationship was formed was Father John Ricardo came to our parish. He said that Africa was the fastest growing Christian area in the world, and we should have a relationship over there. So he, Deacon Don Leach, many of you I'm sure remember Deacon Don, who's since passed away, he was planning a trip to Africa at the time. So Bill could explain later, he knows more than me, on how he stumbled or how he came upon finding San Casitos, but he chose San Casito, and so that's where it is. It's basically Kampala is the big city in Uganda. This is the slums outside of Kampala. And at that time, they had no medical health care whatsoever. There was no prenatal care, no vaccinations, no anything. And so when a kid got a cut on his foot playing on a dirt soccer field because he stepped on glass, it turned into infection and turned into potentially gangrene and, could lose his leg type thing. So it was terrible. So the idea was we need to build them a clinic. So Bill spearheaded coming back here, and we had to do some major fundraising. So the parish kicked in, a lot of private donations and so forth, and lo and behold, we built them a clinic. But what happened, you'll see in a couple slides forward, is that what happens in third world countries like Uganda is when you run out of money, you run out of money. So that's it. So the clinic was designed for 3 floors. They built 2 floors, and they ran out of money. So they said, let's just open the clinic. Let's go, because we got it. So we did. Here are some, just to recap before we go forward, some of the things that we've done. We built them a clinic, and of course we're serving the poorest of the poor, and many of these people can't afford anything when they come to the clinic for help. So the idea we came up with, we came up with the name the OLGC Needy Fund, and this is 100%, it's not funded by the parish, it's funded by private donations. So people have literally just given checks specifically for this fund. So when people show up to the clinic, they are covered through this OLGC Needy Fund. And it's been covered now for about, Bill, 8 or 9 years, something like that. It's been totally funded. We literally came close to running out in November, and we did a little bit of funding, and we got it refunded. So we also, Bill can talk about this story too, but he would come back from Uganda. He's been there 5 times, and he would come back with these pictures, and he would tell me these stories. And when he was working with the people over there building this clinic, he befriended some of the families at San Casito, and he said to one of them, why isn't your son, it's Wednesday, why isn't your son in school? And they said, well, we don't have the funds. In Uganda, they only pay for education through the 6th grade. And so, and that, of course, that education is not very good. And so Bill said, well, I want to do that. So he started sponsoring and paying for that child. And then there's a couple other families that did. And then I asked him to find me a child. So I did that for a couple of years. And then I came to Bill and I said, one day I said, why are we just a couple of us doing this? I said, we're in Plymouth. A lot of us can afford it. I mean, we're talking about ballpark of maybe $100 a month for a kid to be moved from the slums, dangerous streets, to a Catholic boarding school. And Bill at the time was tapped out. He was, I think, he was on multiple ministries here. Plus, he was selling his company. He had no time. But he said, "I think it's a great idea. Why don't you go do it?" So I did. I created some flyers, put a PowerPoint together, gave it to MPB, so forth, and we started. And we've done it in waves. But now we have 80 kids that are either in the program or have graduated through the program that that basically would have had no hope without that. So basically, we came up with the slogan, change a life, save a family. The whole plan is to get these kids educated, get a good job, come back, and take care of your family. So the final thing is, of course, it needed a roof. For the last 9 years, this clinic has not had a roof. So they built a floor, cement slab, floor, cement slab, and that was the roof. And it was only supposed to be the floor. It's not supposed to be the roof. So the rainy season would come, the water would sit there, and eventually it developed cracks. And it started leaking from the roof and everything, and it started coming onto the equipment, and it became a crisis at the end of last year. So when they showed me the pictures, I said, we got to do something about this. So We did. So we built, this is the picture when on the opening day of the clinic, and this is the back of the clinic. So you can see it's 2 floors, and you can see the rods were designed for the 3rd floor, but it never happened. Okay. And here's a side picture of it. And then we fundraised, and this is what is happening right now. So the 3rd floor is going up, the roof is being placed, and here's another picture of it. So by the time we get there, that'll be functional, and hopefully the 3rd floor will be all filled out and it's going. And here's a picture of Jasmine and her husband were there last year. And this is they have one room that's a dental room, and we had some private donations that paid for the dental chair and some basic dental equipment. So that's that picture. So here's a picture of some kids on the street. So our goal in the educational sponsorship program is to take kids like this and to get them in school like this. So get them into a school where they have, clean clothes, 3 meals a day, safe environment, discipline, and a Catholic education. So that's what we've been doing, and our hope is to get a heck of a lot more down the road. So I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine. She was there last year. She's got a bunch of pictures that she took.
Okay, so this is another slum area across the street from St. Casito. That is overlooking the medical clinic from the 2nd floor, just directly across. So even though St. Casito's grounds look very nice and well maintained, the surrounding areas, this is what it looks like. Again, another view. And this is a house, a typical house. And I don't know if you can tell, but there is a water line because they have 2 rainy seasons a year, and it floods. Their drainage system is very subpar. People have to go up to their roofs to sleep, to get out of the rain. And the water line meets almost a third of the way up. So there's a lot of skin infections and skin problems, as you can tell, because there's no sewer system per se, so all that rainy water is mixed with the sewer and the runoff. It creates a lot of problems and dysentery and all these infections. And this is just another example of how they live, right outside their little home. This is their drainage canal, open. Can you imagine children playing around there? And there are a lot of children by themselves, unattended. I'm just imagining when there's a storm, the rain comes down, and a young child falls in. I can't imagine the loss of lives of these children falling in the drainage system. That just kind of haunts me. Now there is a well, but it is a big hike away, like a mile or so, and they get the well water in these large containers, and they walk with them back to their homes. And I'm not sure how clean the well water is, but that's another goal of ours, is to bring these capsules that we were made aware of so they can put it in these jars to sanitize it, and each capsule can contain a family of 4 for a year with clean water. This is the incinerating room, and OLGC private donations made this possible. And I believe it's also the kitchen where they cook. Can you confirm that, Bill?
It is.
Yeah, so the incinerator is down below, and then they're cooking the meal for the school children above. When we were there, they put on a production for us. It was just my husband and I, and they treat us like royalty. We were so undeserving, but it was fabulous. And the Kerrigans were there as well, just a few months prior to us, and I believe you had the same show and the same treatment. But it was just a wonderful native dance that the girls and boys put on for us.
The reason we chose late summer is because when we talked to some people that we thought might be interested, with school and everything else, it was better to do it in the summer. And we also thought, we were hoping to possibly get some college students that, obviously they're off in August, but they're not off in September. So why are we going? Seriously, this is not just a medical thing. We want to go spread the word of God to these folks. We want to, evangelize. We want to show them our love, that, we support them in every which way. And of course, we're there to offer medical and dental services too. And then here is the ballpark costs. I've got approximate on there, because if we got the airfare today, it would be about $17.50. Obviously, the longer we wait, the higher the prices are going to go. So we want to try to nail this down as quickly as possible. We thought about going through a travel agent, and we still might. If everybody in this room signed up to go, we might consider that. But it depends on how many we go. If we book it ourselves, it's a little bit cheaper. Travel agents have to make money too, so they're going to charge us a little bit. The hotel, I have not stayed here yet, but Bill and Jasmine has. They tell me it's very adequate. There's no air conditioning. It's not like here. There is a private bath, so you have your own own room and bathroom, but that's pretty basic. And they do serve breakfast there. We were just estimating food to be a couple $100. I don't know what it's going to really be, and then you got to get yourself a visa too. This is a third world country. You have to get vaccinations. You absolutely have to get yellow fever, and you have to have proof of the certificate that you have yellow fever. And they said you got to get Hep A and Hep B too, and that requires multiple shots. So I've already got my first round, and I'm signed up to get the second round. Malaria and cholera are optional. As I understand, malaria, you can get a shot, or you can actually take pills, which you got to start taking them before the trip, during the trip, and after the trip. So these are 2 local clinics. I only put 2 down because you can look it up yourself, but those are the 2 most local ones if you want to write down the phone numbers. U of M has a clinic I know a lot of people have gone to, and there's others around. I think Belmont has one too. But these are the 2 closest ones. And you got to get a visa, obviously. And I just took this right off the website. And those are the things that you got to, when you apply online, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to send them the last page of your passport and a photo, passport, personal details, your proof of yellow fever, and an invitation letter. And we will all get the invitation letter from Monsignor John over at St. Casitos. He will each write one for each of us. And here is, if you look up ivisa.com/Uganda, that's where you can apply for the visa. So this is kind of a wish list. We need to buy medicines. We're still debating whether we're going to do it over there or over here. We've been out and talked to some other people that have done medical missions. One of the guys is going to be showing up here that's helping us lead this trip. His name is Dr. Uvo. On a robe, when I don't have a seat, let's just call him Uvo, okay? Anyways, he's been on several medical mission trips, and he's helping us lead this. And he was saying, what kind of medicines we need and all that, and whether we should buy them over there or buy them here. And right now, the consensus is, I think, is to buy the non-prescription ones here at Costco, big tubs, buy them, and maybe pack them here, and then buy the prescription stuff over there. So we have a little bit of an advantage over some of these other medical missions, because a lot of these guys are going and they go off to areas where they're going into a forest, to a village or something. We actually go into a place that has a clinic established already. So we have a little bit of a help, so we can coordinate with them, and they'll tell us and lead us on what we should buy and how to buy them and that kind of thing. But we do need to get some tents so we can set up shop over there. These water purification tablets that Jasmine mentioned, these things, they're $8. And this will provide a family for pure drinking water for a year. It'll provide 10 liters a day for a year. So these are about $8. I'm speaking at our MPB on Wednesday, and I'm going to try to raise funds for this. So we'll see what I would love to be able to bring over, a few hundred of these things for the families over there. And of course, we would love to buy Bibles. Bill, was there a year that you brought Bibles or something? Was it?
No, that was for HU down in El Salvador.
Oh, okay. Well, we would like to do that. That's a wish list, but so.